Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Jacob, I'm ohheplays, and today we're doing a speed build. So this is my island haunt. This is my Kidcore Halloween island. If you're coming here from part 1, welcome. If you're not, pause, go back and watch part 1. Just kidding, you actually don't need to. You can just watch this without, unless you want to go back and see it. But this is a 2-part series of making a TP build here on my Halloween island. And the first part was making the codes for this build, and then this part is going to be building the build. So we're gonna go ahead and get started because I think this is gonna be a little bit of a longer video, so I just wanna jump right into it. But yeah, this is where I'm gonna be making the build. I've set aside this plot here. So the unlucky villager who is gonna have their house TP'd is Roscoe. And so we're gonna need to move his house and also actually redesign the exterior. So we're gonna start out by going to talk to Tom Nook about that. Okay, so every time I have to do something like this with Tom Nook, I always do the little hand motion that your player does this at the same time IRL. So the more you know. Okay, but now we're back and I'm just trying to figure out where exactly I want to place it here and just filling out the area a little bit. I know I want trees that I'm going to put some of the codes in, so I'm trying to fill out kind of where I want the trees. And then I saw this tip somewhere, I believe it was on Tumblr, but I don't remember who posted it. I saw this tip once that when planning where to place a building, you should use the vertical fencing, the vertical board fencing, so that you can kind of visually see the height of the building rather than like all of the other like fencing you might use. You don't really see like the physical space of the full house, if you know what I mean, but the verticality, the height of the fence helps you like visualize what an actual building is going to look like there. So I try to do that every time now, and it's really helpful. So definitely recommend. So let's go see how that looks. Okay, purple curtain. That I'm loving that little touch, and that kind of like ties in the color scheme of the island. Also, I thought I was gonna want to redecorate the exterior of his house, but then I went and tried to do that and I ended up not changing anything, and I think it's gonna be perfect as is, low key. So let's just keep trucking ahead. So I know I want there to be bushes because I want to have some of the codes, like the toilet paper codes, in the bushes, as if, you know, the bushes have been TP'd. But the question is, do I want to extend the house in some way, possibly with a storefront? And I decided I did want to at least try that. So I had to go and get some storefronts from Treasure Island, but I got those. And in my mind, there's always a black storefront that exists, and I was looking for that, but that just isn't one of the colorways. So I had to go with this, and I've used this color with other houses on this island as well, and I think it works, especially with the lighting and everything. I think since I'm keeping it at night, and like I said, the lighting, like it really does kind of work. And yeah, we're just gonna go with it. I think it looks pretty matchy. And even if it's not like matchy, I do kind of like, I think I do kind of want the house to look a little like, I don't know what the correct, maybe drab. Like I don't want it to look like, oh, he lives in like a shack or like a broken down house or anything, but I do think I want it to look a little, yeah, maybe drab's the right word. So I think these are working, and I'm gonna stick with these. So now with the pathing, I was trying to do something, I wanted this to be a little different than like the other houses that I've done. Most of the houses I've done on this island, I've done the pathing kind of like tiles straight from the sidewalk to the door. And with this one, I wanted it to be a little more like natural, like wavy almost, although it's like 90-degree angles, but I wanted it to feel a little different and a little incorporate more of the yard than the others. So that's what I'm doing here, is trying to figure out the shape of it. And yeah, I go back and forth a little bit, but I end up liking how it turned out, obviously. Another thing I've been thinking as I work on this island is I wish that we had more items that looked like a mailbox, or like we had a fake mailbox item, because there's no way to get extra mailboxes unless you have extra players on the island. So I ended up using this spooky lantern because I felt like it's similar shape, but the problem with that is it can only really face one way, because it can only be really kind of on the left side, because if it's on the right side of something, you can't really see the face on the jack-o'-lantern. So I found it a little hard to work with, but I just had to use it. So now I want to kind of fill in just some of the codes here. Those codes are by Crystal Cat, friend of the channel. They're really good. I think I was saying this a little bit in the other video, but I'm playing technically in September on this island, so the trees and things haven't changed, but I'm trying to add in some of those fall touches through like codes and items, and so I kind of like it. So now I'm just gonna start putting in the TP codes and other codes and just kind of seeing how it goes. So yeah, I'm just kind of vibing for a little bit. You'll see, you know, I'm like trying to fill it in, get a feel for like what things are gonna look like. But yeah, I've had this idea for this build for so long, and so it was kind of crazy to like finally be doing it. And it's like, I don't know, it's cool to see like your vision come to life that you've had for so long, and like, I don't know, it's just been in my head for so long, and it felt good to like finally get it out. You know what I mean? So just playing around with that. I was thinking here, I realized that when I did the test with the codes in the last video, I wanted to have codes, like the TP codes behind the bushes, so that they, you know, would look more like in the bushes. And I didn't have space for that here. So I think we're gonna get to that in a minute, but I will move those around to kind of figure that out. And you can see like I'm doing a lot of the little tests that I did in the last video. I'm like actually putting here in the yard now. And I don't know, it's just kind of, I needed to strike a balance of like not having all of the same codes right beside each other, not having too many codes near each other, just like keeping a balance. But yeah, I think I really like how it's turning out. Oh my gosh, this drives me crazy when this happens, when you try to place a code in one spot and it goes everywhere you don't want it. And that happens to me all the time. So I always say whenever it gets I no way. That's is always the way. Like the way to get through So I realize here, I think, yeah, I didn't like how the hedges were like that close to the path. So I'm trying to push it back a little. So then I realized that it needs to actually be a little higher up. So I needed to put a different item there, but I didn't have the item. So I had to do a little cut. So here we go. I went and got a wooden box so it could be a little higher, and I'm testing that out. And then when I come out here to check what it looks, there's an effect that it has that I really like. You see how I'll show again in a second, but you see how it like looks like it's in the window in the back with the way it's sitting there? I really like that. So I'm glad with how that turned out. Here I tested putting it to the side, but I missed having that little window effect. So I'm gonna put it back, but I really liked how that worked out and kind of wasn't something I was planning for. It was a nice little surprise. So I was really happy with that. So now that I've kind of got the codes going, I wanted to figure out the rest of the yard and like the building and kind of flesh out the rest of the yard and figure out, you know, the like natural parts of it, adding some more bushes and hedges, trees, whether or not I wanted to add more storefronts, which I end up adding right here. But yeah, I wanted to kind of get the actual structure of the house finished so that I could finish doing the actual decorating, you know? So, but then I'm gonna realize that I need to go get some more items. So I've got another little cut in here. And then I went to a treasure island and I got a bunch of trees and other stuff. So I'm coming back. I time traveled back to the day prior because I only play on this island on this one day because it has those clouds there in the back. So I wanted to like be working in the day that I play in, like where I'll take pictures so that I know how it actually really looks. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out the like natural parts of the yard. And so I'm adding much trees. I end up adding too many trees. So I've got to take some out and try again. But I'm just doing some landscaping. And Roscoe is out here in the yard. Okay, fun. I don't know if it's a fun fact. Originally, when I was planning this out, I knew I wanted to do a TP build. And the obvious person to do it for was Lucky, because I have Lucky on this island as well. But then I thought about it for like 1 second and I was like, wait, within like the world of Animal Crossing, TPing the mummy character is like, feels wrong. I was like, is this like, would this be like a hate crime? You know what I mean about Lucky? Like, it just felt too mean and almost like mocking and like hateful. So I decided to do it to someone else, which is why poor Roscoe ended up with this as his yard. But actually about that little car and the like toilet paper, I did that on purpose. I had already done that because I wanted to kind of have a spot there, like a little like Easter egg almost, where you can see like the people parked and then TP'd, and like, I don't know, there's like evidence of it being done, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So that's why that's there. But now I feel like the yard is pretty figured out. So now it's really just a matter of finishing up the decorating and codes. So that's what I'm going to start doing. Well, now it's time to yap. So yeah, let's gab. I was thinking like when I did these two videos, this 2-part series, it's interesting because I'm recording voiceover and I find it a little difficult to like keep the conversation going and knowing what to like yap about. But then I think about back when I used to stream regularly and like streaming, and I would not really have that much of a problem like keeping conversation going when I did that. So it's like, why is this different? I guess the difference is that when you're streaming, there is a chat that you can interact with and like, you know, you have something to go off of, and this is literally just me speaking to myself. So it is a little different, but I digress. Anyway, let me know if you like this, if you enjoyed this video series, if you liked part 1, if you liked part 2, if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear ideas on how I could improve, or, you know, maybe what you liked about it the most, what could be improved, etc. I don't know. I would love to know what people think of this, because this is something new. This is something I'm trying out, and I like watching this type of video on YouTube. I know for myself, but it does feel different when you're the one doing it. So if people like these, I'll continue making stuff like this. So just let me know what you think. And yeah, I guess last time I talked a lot about, I had the Lady Gaga concert coming up. I have since gone to the concert and it was crazy. We did not know, but so she recorded the VMAs performance that she did. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. While we were there, which was crazy. We did not know that was going to happen. We knew that she was like listed as a performer for the VMAs, but she was listed, the VMAs were the day after the concert. And so we knew that the VMAs would probably be pre-recorded, but never once for whatever reason did it occur to me that that probably meant she was going to record it at our show. So because she had a concert during the VMAs is why we knew it'd be pre-recorded. But so yeah, we sit down at our seats, and then literally like a couple minutes later, they make an announcement that they're going to record something, and they may have to do it a few times before they start the show. And so it was crazy. They like performed, she came out and performed Abracadabra, and then she came out and performed the Dead Dance. So we saw the VMAs performance in real time, like as it was being recorded, which was crazy to like be there for it. And then also it was the first live performance of the Dead Dance like period. So that was super crazy to get to see. And like as a lifelong little monster it was just so wild, and it was like so exciting and so thrilling. And the performance was incredible. So if you didn't watch that performance, go look it up. crazy. I just like, I still can't believe that that happened and we didn't know it was going to happen, you know, like sitting down and then hearing that announcement, I was freaking out. So I also, literally all I talk about is Lady Gaga, but I also got tickets for, she announced more shows next year, and I got floor seats this time for a better price than the seats I had last time, which were like higher up. So that's crazy, but I got an incredible deal and I'm super excited to see the show again. Pause up. Let's go. Okay, so that little cut there was because I realized I needed some more items, so I had to go and get some things. But I basically just decided at this point, I felt like it was pretty solid, the like codes and stuff. I just needed to kind of fill out the yard and make it a little more realistic. So that's kind of what I was working on, is adding all the little things. Like I've been giving every single house these same 2 bins, like you would see, you know, like in a real neighborhood, they have the stuff. So like you have like your recycling bin, your trash bin, everyone has the same one. So like trying to just give it a touch of realism like that. I put some toilet paper back there, you saw, with the trash cans, as if Roscoe had started cleaning up maybe, or I don't know, just made sense. But actually, okay, speaking of Roscoe and this whole thing, so I had this idea, right? Once I decided that it was going to be him that had his house TP'd, I thought, well, this most likely would have occurred before Halloween night. And in my mind, the island takes place on Halloween night. This would have happened before Halloween. And I had this idea of like, oh, I can use like the spooky lanterns here and like decorations, but they're turned off. Whereas at all of the other houses, you know, they're turned on, they're like glowing. He has them turned off. I'm like, in my mind, he has turned off his lights. He's not going to be putting out candy because of this, which, saying that out loud, I'm like, that's actually really, really sad. Like, but I don't know. In my mind, it's like, I don't know, these kids like TP'd his yard, and it like, he was decorated for Halloween and he was like looking forward to it. He was going to put out candy, but it just kind of ruined it for him. And yeah, like I said, super depressing to say out loud, but justice for Roscoe. I don't know. It's just, it had to have a little story, and I think it makes sense, but really sucks. Which also, now I'm actually kind of thinking too, like, imagine getting your house TP'd. That's kind of crazy. Like, has anyone ever seen that in real life? I've only ever seen like TPing houses in media, like in movies and TV shows. I never saw it in real life. I think, okay, maybe I've seen it as decoration, I think, actually, as well, where people did it on purpose, like on one tree as decoration, not like their whole house was TP'd. I don't know. I've never seen that in real life. I don't know. So let me know if you have in the comments. Like, the whole concept is kind of crazy to me. And yeah, I can't imagine seeing that or like doing that for one. Oh my gosh. But it's a classic trope in media, especially like Halloween stuff. So I thought it made a lot of sense for this island, and I'm like really actually pretty happy with how it turned out. So at this point, I had decided that I was pretty much done, and I was just filling in some codes on the road, trying to, you know, fill it in a little bit more. I love that you can see Red walking around here. I love he fits the island so well. I'm not speaking to Red or Harvey. I almost forgot his name. I'm not speaking to Red or Harvey so that they continue to walk around the island and it's like more trick-or-treaters, you know what I mean? So they're still sticking around, but it's cool to see Red, especially. I think he just like really fits the vibe of the island. So I always like when he's walking around while I'm working. Yeah. So at this point, I was saying to myself as I was recording, I was like, oh, we're done. Like, the sleighs, this is pretty good. And then as I was saying this, an idea struck me. So as I had the camera pointed up and like kind of trying to see what it all looked like, I had this idea of like, what if there were, you know, what if there was toilet paper on the roof? And think about like, if this had happened in real life, there would probably be toilet paper on the roof all over the house. And so how could I, you know, get that effect, right? So I had this idea, and then how can I make it happen? So I thought there's definitely some sort of item that I could put behind the building, behind the house or the storefronts to make it look like that, and then put the tabletop pop display on top. So I tried out a couple items at first. I tried the wooden wardrobe, but you'll see here, yep, it's not tall enough. I can't actually see that code. So then I was trying to think what might work, and also grabbed some decorative pillars. So I was trying to think of other items here, but I already had the decorative pillar. So I went over and I tried that out, but you'll see in the preview again, that doesn't really quite work either. So then I stopped filming and I had to think about it for a second, and then I had to come back. So I went and grabbed some antique wardrobes and then had to come back and test those out. Spoiler alert, they work perfect. So I'm placing them here. LOL, here I am forgetting that it would be too wide. Gotta fix that. But yeah, this ended up being like the perfect height. So I'm just gonna place the code on top and then go check out what it looks like from the front. And yeah, this basically just was a perfect height. I felt good about how it looked. But as I was looking at it, I felt like, okay, maybe it feels a little far away. I'm gonna come back, and I wanted to try putting it a little closer. So I thought, okay, what if the wardrobe goes where the storefront is? So I tested that out instead, pushed it forward a little bit. But when I came back and looked at it from the front, it looked too high now. And I thought, actually, it's actually kind of cool. It being further away helped with the perspective of the whole thing. Like, it made it look more like it was on the roof. And so that was kind of a fun little test, just seeing that, like, it actually was good at being further away and how it worked with the perspective. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. I love how it looks on the roof. I was really glad that worked out, but I felt pretty much done, but I decided, hey, let me sit on this how it is now for like a day or two, and then I'm gonna maybe revisit and add some other things, and we'll see. Okay, so future Jacob here to do the big reveal. Honestly, spoiler alert, before we even get over there, I really didn't change too much. I think I maybe moved around a few codes here and there, but like I said, nothing crazy. So here we go. Let's see Roscoe's house finalized. Let's check it out. Yeah, truly, I mean, like I said, I don't think I changed too much, just maybe moved a few codes around, but yeah, this is it. I love it. I don't know. I think I was saying at the end of the codes video that I wasn't 100% sure that I wasn't feeling like it maybe was 100% how it was in my head. But now that I have actually done the build and I've placed the codes, this is pretty damn close. This feels like exactly what I was picturing. I think it worked out really well. I'm just really proud of it. And it's so cool to see again, something that you've had in your head for so long actually come to fruition and work out. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. And yeah, this is the build. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Once again, if you like this video, if you like this format, if you want to see some more things like this, build videos, code making videos, let me know. But yeah, I had so much fun doing this, and I'm having so much fun working on this island. I can't wait to share more with you all soon. So yeah, thanks for watching, and be sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you're not already. If you're feeling generous, give this video some hype, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.